Hi, and welcome to Variant Edition, your first weekly video podcast show about comics and comic culture. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mike.
And we got a pretty good show for you tonight. We've got this beauty, not a very nice guy, character-wise, but a very nice rendition, right?
He is beautiful, and I can't wait to see what Mr. Swisstack has to say about it.
Yeah, and just a tease to the review.
He's also holding something behind his back.
Yeah, so you'll have to tune in later to see
absolutely.
That.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. We got reviews tonight. What are you reviewing?
I am reviewing the What If Ultimate, not Ultimate Spider-Man, but the Spider-Man the Other What If, number 1, which there isn't going to be a number 2, 3, or 4, or 5, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, those What Ifs are big teases.
Yeah, but I'm also looking at X-Men First Class number 3.
That's
First
cool.
time I'm looking at it.
That's cool. And we got Lewis, still not quite graduated out of intern yet, but he's going to be looking at some DC books for us this week.
And he is getting better.
He is getting better, yeah. Maybe soon he can grow out of his intern name.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Never in my book, but perhaps someday.
And Jen's got a review, and I may even throw something in this week.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then the big thing this week, we've got Mike Swisstack's interview with Clayburn Moore.
Yep.
That we did back in Baltimore.
They were really nice to us. They actually let us kind of corner their table off for like 15 minutes while we got our shots that we needed. So
yeah, no,
lots
really
of thanks
cool.
to you guys, and
Very
hopefully
much.
we'll run into you again somewhere and do it again.
Very much so, very much so. But, so that's a big show.
So we're not going to talk anymore.
No, we're going to send it right over to Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick, and this is the news for the week of Wednesday, November 15th, 2006. Ever wanted a chance to win your very own George Perez with Hawaiian shirt? Well, now's your chance. TalesOfWonder.com and the Hero Initiative are teaming up to offer a day with the superstar artist. Every purchase at TalesOfWonder.com enters the customer into a drawing, where each dollar spent will result in one entry. Tales of Wonder will then donate a percentage of every sale to the Hero Initiative. The winner will have George Perez flown to their own town, and then be able to spend the day doing whatever. Hope you got some hedges that need trimming. The Hero Initiative, formerly a Commitment to Our Roots, or ACTOR, comic fund, is the first ever federally chartered, not-for-profit corporation dedicated strictly to helping comic book creators in need. For more information about the Hero Initiative or the contest, check out heroinitiative.org. So, you've read the comics, bought all the variant covers, but you need more? Well, Marvel Zombie fans, you're getting your chance. In addition to the upcoming crossover and prequel, HeroClix will be releasing a Marvel Zombies click set in 2007. But for fans who can't wait, expect to find more Marvel Zombie versions of Spider-Man, Colonel America, Hulk, and Wolverine randomly inserted into the new Supernova sets released in November. The zombified versions of your favorite Marvel heroes will be slightly weaker than the non-zombie counterparts, but you'll be able to use them with your HeroClix as well. No word yet on which zombies will be included in the full Marvel Zombie set next year. You probably don't know the comic, but you know the creator. Friend of Variant Edition, Mike Oeming, has just had one of his comics optioned for a television pilot. 6, a comic about an alien-hunting, down-rogue extraterrestrial sleeper agents who have been contaminated by human emotions, will be adapted as Them by David Icke and John McNamara, and directed by John Mastow, who you may remember from directing T3, or would like to forget. According to Oeming, there are still a lot of hurdles to getting a TV show shot, but the creative force behind it is amazing. It's in good hands. Expect Them to have a feel like 24 meets the X-Files. The original comic 6 was written by Oeming and Daniel Berman and is available from Image Comics. While it may just be the working title, it seems like the sequel to Superman Returns may be known as Superman, the Man of Steel. Maybe they should copy The Dark Knight and drop the Superman part. And it seems like Bryan Singer may be back to making X-Men movies. Again, nothing official, but Hugh Jackman has said that Singer is the preferred director for his upcoming Wolverine spin-off. You know, in case you guys didn't get enough of Wolverine with X-Men 1, 2, and 3. If things work out, expect the film to be wrapped up before the end of next year, coincidentally when Singer would be starting up Superman the Man of Steel. And I'm sure that you've already seen it, but check out the Spider-Man 3 trailer up on iFilm, or if you can find it, the leaked trailer with the Venom shot at the end. That's right, Venom. The New York Comic Con announced that it will host the first ever American Anime Awards. The awards ceremony will take place on Saturday, February 24th at the New York Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. The award showcases the very best anime to make its way to North America, and the winners are all chosen by anime fans themselves. Anime fans will have a chance to vote for their favorite online during the month of January. The 5 nominees receiving the most votes will be announced February 5th, and the winners will be announced at the American Anime Awards ceremony February 24th. For more information about the American Anime Awards or the New York Comic Con, visit nycomiccon.com. Well, that's it for the news this week. I'll see you later on the episode with my review. But up next, it's Mike Swisstack with the statue review.
Hey, how are you?
How you doing?
We're here with Variant Edition for this week's statue and toy review. We got a nice one. Statue.
Awesome.
We got a Randy Bowen, not just by the company, but the man himself, sculpted by Bowen, Red Skull. Classic. I don't know much about him. I know that he is the quintessential Captain America villain. Kev was telling me there's a bunch of different, he's had like 3 different origins done of him, but he's bad. I mean, you know, classic crazy Nazi with a red skull head. Originally had a mask. You've got the Kirby style head, which is amazing. This guy happens to come with the Change-O head feature that Bowen does from time to time. So he comes with the dual head. He comes with the classic Kirby head and a modern red skull head. They're both awesome. It's interesting point. On the box, they have the classic, the modern head on him, and he doesn't have the cigarette holder in his mouth. But this one here, you get the heads, both of them have the cigarette holder in their mouth.
Double bonus.
You get the double bonus.
Awesome.
You get it coming and going.
It's awesome.
It's wonderful.
I'll say it again.
Wonderful. All right. I'll get into the details. This guy's amazing because he's limited to 2,000 pieces. He's sculpted by Bowen from Bowen Designs. The detail...
Got the man's signature mark
his
right
classic
in the back
RB on the back. This is awesome. You gotta, if you get a chance to see one in a comic book shop or somewhere, check it out because the pictures don't do it justice. He's got such amazing sculptural leather detail on the jacket that Randy's so good at.
Beautiful.
He's got the see, now I'm screwed.
What?
He's got the clear, I forget what it's called. The clear cosmic cube in his backhand behind him. Luger up in front of him. Amazing. Out of the 2 heads, I'm a maniac. I had to buy 2 of them so I could have both of the heads. But out of the 2 heads, I kind of like the face of the modern one more, even though I love the Kirby eyebrow ridge. But the Kirby head has the skull lines on it, like you have on your skull,
look at that.
which are
skull
amazing.
Down the middle, and then the little cracks down the back.
And the modern head, for some reason, doesn't have those lines.
Look at that. They didn't put that in there.
So that's a give and take. I kind of almost like the Kirby head more. I know everybody probably will if you're a diehard comic fan.
That's true.
They're both awesome. What I'm going to do, again, I'm a little crazy, but I'm going to sculpt the bust just of this so that I can have the extra head just in a bust next to it, just the torso of the jacket.
Well, we all know you're a statue madman. So.
I am. We'll show this on a future episode once I get it done. There's a little backlog, but a beautiful piece, man. You got to check it out. He's just great. I mean,
the base is amazing with the little rivets. They've got little nice copper touches around it to make them stand out. Nice scratching on it. Yeah. Nice bolts.
Awesomely painted, awesomely sculpted. Amazing piece. A must-have. He's like $160. Again, limited to 2,000.
Gotta get it.
Gotta check it out.
Gotta have it.
Gotta
and if
check
you
it
can,
out.
get 2.
Yeah, if you're like me, a little crazy. But you gotta see it. All right, so that's that. Be sure later on in the episode to check out, because this segment with me, when we were in Baltimore, I was able to interview the man himself, not Randy Bowen, but someone on his level, Clayburn Moore.
That was a great...
dude, this guy is like a sculpting god. He's unreal. I've been a big fan of him since way back 12, 13 years ago. He did an amazing, I think we've shown it on an early episode, the pit statue he did. I showed it for some cleaning tips. But check this review out, this interview with Clayburn Moore out, because it's great. You see some of his new stuff coming out from the show, and he's a great guy. So thanks a lot, and have a good one.
Take care.
All right, so this week I took a look at X-Men First Class number 3. Now, I didn't read 1 or 2. They kind of slipped by me. I was looking at other things. Regardless, from what I have taken from this is that it kind of seems like an independent sort of Adventures of the X-Men sort of tale. This one focuses on the subconscious of Xavier. So he's hooked into Cerebro. It's not fully functional yet. Obviously, there's going to be problems. The rest of the X-Men were sleeping when he went into the Cerebro, so they all kind of get sucked in through the subconscious of them sleeping, mixed with Xavier's most powerful mind, and everything's thrown out of whack. I mean, the maid that used to cook for Charles when he was a kid is there. It doesn't fit at all. Cyclops doesn't wear his glasses. Hank is still human, so I'm guessing that's okay because this is supposed to be the X-Men First Class. You know, and you've got a lot of weird things going on. I mean, even Jarvis is there as the butler. It makes no sense at all. Magneto's playing chess with Xavier for his helmet. The story's a little bit odd. It's just very odd, but it's that whole subconscious thing going on. So it's interesting, and it's just kind of explaining that, you know, Cerebro wasn't perfect in the beginning. We had to tweak it, and we built this thing, and now we had to make sure it worked properly. I like this story. I think I'm going to like this series, so I'm going to keep reading it.
All right, guys, my first review for this week was Teen Titans issue 40. Now, since the Infinite Crisis and the 1 year later, the whole team has been like complete debauchery. The membership is have been in complete disarray. There hasn't been an official Teen Titans lineup since the 1 year later, and because of Connor's death, you know, you haven't seen Robin or Wonder Girl. So the Titans lineup we have right now consists of Wonder Girl, Robin, a newly rebuilt Cyborg, Kid Devil, and Ravager, who is also coincidentally the daughter of Slade, Deathstroke. So here we are 1 year later. The Titans have been going around the world looking for Raven, who's been missing since the crisis. And she had left a message to Cyborg while he was offline saying that there was a traitor amongst the group and that he had stolen a precious artifact from Titans Tower that was really vital to Raven. So Raven left, and the Titans reformed under the current lineup looking for Raven. So they've been around the world trying to pick up clues, and along the way we've met some new characters, a lot of first appearances from Miss Martian, the female version of Captain Atom. A lot of these characters will probably be seeing in 52 if you've been keeping up with that. So finally everything comes to a head in Phoenix, where Robin figures out where Raven is. So I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but everything comes to a head. The traitor's revealed, even though you think you know who it is due to the cover. It's really not. The artifact isn't what we all originally thought it was, which is the secret identities of the Titan members. And a former Titan member is quote-unquote brought back. I'll leave it at that. But this read has been really good. It wasn't what anybody was expecting, and Titans has been my favorite books since day one. All the subplots, everything is coming to a head now. So if you're not reading this, you really need to jump on this. Artwork by Tony Daniels, flawless. I mean, no overdone inking, coloring is dead on. And Jeff Johns, this is his best writing since, he started Green Lantern or the Titans. So if you guys aren't reading this is a major pickup. Really good developments for this team, and this is just the beginning of what looks to be a really fun year for the Titans.
Well, it's been a while since I've read Fear Agent, but Fear Agent number 8 is what I've read, and it's what I'm going to give to you. It starts off in a very different way than the rest of the comics have been going, where it shows you a completely different world, completely different Heath, and a completely different situation that everybody's put in, because it's a dream that Heath is having while in the spaceship, while his body's fighting out all the drugs that he pumped into himself during prison. And it's more of a nightmare than a dream. It just shows what he thought of his life and what he remembered of his life before everything went to shit. Before, the whole alien invasion went on and he went off and became a fear agent. And it shows you, you can expect that he became who he was in the stories now, after what happened, after seeing him in the past, because he's not such of an arrogant asshole anymore. He's more of just a rugged country boy cowboy, kind of living the old traditional way of life, family and all that out in the West. But then everything goes bad, and here he is waking up on his spaceship, figuring out, hey, that wasn't a dream. I mean, that wasn't real. That was a dream, which makes you feel more with his character and gives an explanation to why he does what he does, like drink. We all got our reasons. So anyway, story goes on more, and him and Mara go into more of an intimate relationship, as you see detailed in the comics. Some nice work in those scenes. But he gets more involved with her, and you see more of a relationship forming, and they're kind of putting aside their differences and just coming to terms with each other. And then after they do it, he wakes up from the middle of sleeping and sees this video image flash of Mara fighting all these creatures and saying, stay away, you ungodly son of a... and all this stuff. And it gets cut short with her saying nothing but, Heath, I love you. So he wakes up out of that and says, what just happened? So the other chick, who says that she's Mara, tells him everything's all right, and they're going down to Earth, which they've been hovering around for about 20 minutes because they were doing it. So they go to Earth, everything's destroyed, but they're going down because he's got to see what exactly happened. So, issue 9 should be a blast.
Hey guys, This episode, I get to review Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series written by Laurel K. Hamilton. This is issue number 2. Now, I do have some creative issues about this book, which I'll go into a little bit later, but let me just tell you a little bit about the story and fill it in. Takes place right where we left off from last episode. Anita's having this kind of big fight with the vampire Aubrey in the middle of Guilty Pleasures, the club run and owned by vampires, especially one in particular, Jean-Claude. Now, just when things are about to get really bad, she's either going to get her throat bitten out by the vampire or the vampire is going to get his heart stabbed through by a silver knife, Jean-Claude intervenes, kind of pulls him apart, and gives Anita Blake an ultimatum. She either, agrees to work with them, help figure out some of these vampire murders that are going on, or, he can't guarantee her friend's safety or her safety for that matter. So she agrees with him. They go back to the vampire hideout. They play a little vampire shell game, who's the master vampire, who? She figures it's none of those guys that are in the room with her at the moment, and including one woman vampire. And Anita Blake, being who she is, she's taunting and teasing the vampires all the way through. She even goes as far to tell one of the vampires, you look like a terrible B-movie vampire. And he gets pissed at her and, gives her the king of all slibbity slaps and knocks her into one of the walls, which injures her pretty badly. Story goes on. She wakes up in a dungeon in Jean-Claude's arms. To her dismay, she finds out that in order for her to survive, Jean-Claude had to give her some of his essence, so she's now one step closer to being his human servant, which upsets her a little bit considering she hates vampires so much. Now, you get to meet some of the more colorful characters at the end of the story. You get to meet some weird rats. Try and say that 10 times fast. Weird rats. They gang up on her. She prepares herself for attack. She says, things can't get any worse. And they do. More weird rats. Ooh, weird rats. That is so hard to say. More weird rats show up. Story's great. It's word for word from the novels, so that's pretty much why I like the story and kind of the reason why I'm going to stick with it. Creatively, as far as I'm concerned, I'm having a big problem with the drawing of Anita herself. Now, Kev, I know you're going to get a close-up of this, somewhere over that way. But look at how thick her thighs are. Now, if this was where, the way that the artist was drawing her, kind of how his style is, I wouldn't have a problem. But it's not consistent. You go page after page, she's looking okay, kind of thin, kind of drawn out, and you get to these parts where she's got, I don't know, thunder thighs, you want to call them, giganticism of the pelvis, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. She's looking way too flanky for Anita Blake. So, to wrap it up, I'll probably keep reading the book because I enjoy the story. I hope the artwork gets better, but I'll keep you posted on how it works out. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, it's Mike here at Variant Edition, and I'm here with a great sculptor, man. This is Clayburn Moore. I've been a big fan of this guy for a long time. How you doing, sir?
Very well. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I just love all your statues, all your sculptures. Amazing. We got a bunch of different stuff out here. The she-dragon statue, just beautiful, man. I'm so blown away, too, by, the bronze she that you're doing.
Oh, right. Well, thank you. Kabuki, actually, but yeah.
Kabuki, I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem. We actually did I'd done a she statue, and we did a bronze years and years ago.
Okay, I've been a fan so long.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about your Walking Dead guys you got coming out?
Sure. I'm working with Robert Kirkman on a series from his comic. He's one of the top writers in the field. Very popular comic. It's an excellent read. I highly recommend it. And we're doing a series of very affordable 4-inch busts as well. But I'm also doing a statue of the main character, Rick, fighting zombies. And we'll release them as 3 statues that you can put together.
Okay.
So they won't hit you too hard. And I'm actually sculpting on that pretty much these days, right now.
Okay.
So that'll probably ship in 6 or 7 months.
All right.
And in the meantime, we're doing a continuing series of the little, I call them torso statuettes myself. Yeah. And we're naming them, they're inspired by the original material, and we're naming them. This is Nate, and this is Vince.
Okay.
We're also doing the Invincible statue, which is shipping right now, another Robert Kirkman title.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great read, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good book.
The statue itself, man, it's just, you captured it so perfectly.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. We're doing that as a bronze also.
Oh, okay.
And we've got the Aphrodite 9 that we're doing. We're doing an AP edition of that piece. And the She-Dragon just shipped. It's selling out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I got one of those.
That's a good one. Well, great. Well, thanks. We have the... this is the Schoolgirl Witchblade. and this is going into previews right now, so it'll ship in 5 or 6 months.
All right.
Okay, and we're doing another edition of this with ComicStatues.com.
Okay.
An exclusive piece with a ponytail and a red skirt, new base, that kind of thing. So you might want to check that out.
Yeah, definitely.
And let me see, I'm doing a Cull of Atlantis that I'm working on now also. I'm doing another Kabuki bust of another one of the Kabuki characters.
Okay.
And doing a Lady Death. I'm getting started on a new Lady Death. That's one of the first pieces I did years ago.
Yep.
So I'm kind of revisiting the character again with Brian Polito. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, that's awesome.
A lot of good stuff coming up.
All right, well, thank you very much for talking to us. Have a great show, and it was great meeting you, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure, sure appreciate it. Take care.
Take care.
So this week I took a look at the What If Spider-Man the Other #1. It's odd. It's picking up where if you read the Other, a lot of people didn't like the Other. Look, I liked the Other. Okay, I like Spider-Man stories. I really like that one. I brought in the whole thing, changed Spider-Man that we're not seeing anymore because of Civil War and he's in this other suit. Regardless, this is a very interesting point to take the story because it's Peter Parker's dead. He's in the cocoon, but he rejects the spider within him. All right, so he stays in like this kind of comatose stasis, not really alive, not really dead. What do? Well, you bring in the symbiote. You bring back Venom, and Venom takes over the cocoon, and it's this whole new metamorphosis that Peter Parker's going to be part of, and he becomes this character known as Poison. Not Venom, but Poison. Could have picked a better name, I thought, but whatever. So he goes back, and he's back at Avengers Tower, and he breaks in to rescue, well, not to rescue, but to take Mary Jane with him. She's having nightmares since the death of Spider-Man, which is, of course, several seasons later in this story. And it's odd. That's all I'm going to say is odd. I really like the Other as it was. I don't see the what if point, but whatever. It ends on an interesting note with this Poison character going to Gwen Stacy's grave to dig her up to make her, his new companion, because apparently Venom also has the ability to copulate, as it were. So he takes Gwen Stacy's body, throws it in a cocoon, and many moons later, it looks like Carnage is coming up, but Carnage is going to be Gwen Stacy, which is just really an empty shell of Poison, and it's weird. I don't know where they're going with it. I'm going to read it because it's a Spider-Man story in a way. So yeah, pick it up. If you didn't like the Other, don't pick it up. If you like the Other, definitely pick it up. If you like Spider-Man, pick it up, give it a read. It's worth a shot.
So my second review for this week was Grant Morrison's and Andy Kubert's wrap-up issue of The Run on Batman. And if you guys remember, originally in DC continuity, pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths, Batman had forged a relationship with Talia al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, and they bared a child, which is later on erased by the Crisis. And since Infinite Crisis and 1 year later, they've kind of brought that back into continuity. Although it's still kind of sketchy and up in the air, it looks like the real deal. So we pick up Robin's left unconscious in the Batcave after being severely beaten by Batman's quote-unquote son. Alfred looks like was stuck in the fridge and locked in. And Talia is launching like a massive plan of attack from like an island where she stole the Man-Bat serum from the doctor who created it. And so Batman and his son have this really weird, rocky relationship. His son is very cold-blooded, emotionless, trained by the League of Assassins, so he's at the top of his game, even though he's still got some tricks to learn from Batman, because Batman just has everything up his sleeve. So Batman goes to the island, foils Talia's plan, but there's a great subplot in there where there's an actual ultimatum decision. There's a lot of manipulation going on in this storyline, and there's lots of ramifications that come from this later on the Batman run when Kubert jumps back in after Grant Morrison's run with this new artist coming on. So this book is a great read. Andy Kubert's pencils have been the strongest they've been since I can remember, probably from Ultimate X-Men. And the inking, the penciling, everything's great. Morrison's storytelling, really witty, very cocky-ish kind of Batman, and really diluted humor. It's really great. Good pickup. And if you guys aren't on this, make sure you jump off the next arc and when Kubert comes back after December. It's a really great read.
So, Exterminators. I had a very, very good time reading issue number 10, which was an amazing story. If you haven't picked it up, definitely go into it. If you're a fan of Exterminators, that issue is like cream of the crop in my book. So much goes on, and once again, great art from Tony Moore. This time we don't have Tony Moore, but we do have a friend of variant edition, Mike Hawthorne, whose art is a very, very good replacement for Tony Moore during his absences on these series. Because the other artists that they've put in place, they're a bit, as Kevin and I were discussing before, they were too much of a departure from Tony Moore's art, and it didn't really stick with the feel of the story. Mike Hawthorne captures that. He does his own style, but tweaks it enough to make it work with what everybody's familiar with. And it's awesome. I got, what is it? 4 words for everybody in this comic. Slap, slap, slappity, slap. When you get to the page, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So, Exterminators issue 11. Starts off, you see Saluth, or Salath, or however you pronounce his name, talking to Nils and going over these new eradication formulas that he has for bugs and other vermin. And he pretty much vaporizes a squirrel in this little container. Says that it produces an edible ash that he wants to sell to the health food market or something. But there's kind of, problems with feeding squirrels. But anyway, that was that. And it goes, from that point, it shows you more of the human side of Salath. He goes in, I'm sorry for butchering this name, but it goes into the more human side of him, like he's asking Nils for advice for this date that he has with the other scientist woman. And it's kind of weird, because, he goes the whole route of, like, I have a friend, oh, no, wait, a neighbor who's got a date, and blah, blah, blah. It was just weird seeing a guy like this trying to get advice on, how to get some on a first date. So his date goes on, and actually they hit it off pretty well. He's really weird, she's really weird. They have dinner by the dumpster of the hotel, and they wear night vision goggles to watch things while they eat. So anyway, goes from that, and he starts explaining to her more of his past about his when he lived in Vietnam during the conflicts that were going on and everything that happened, but he's changing it. And you don't really know what's happening. All you know is the next day he's feeding his bugs that, he's got in the basement of Bug Be Gone, and he's talking to them, which is kind of messed up. Either these are telepathic bugs or he's just going nuts. And he's going into a conversation with them about how he did change a lot of a lot of what he said in his story to explain his past to this woman. So where he came from and what he was doing, where he was, still really up in the air. This character still has that nice creepy Herbert West feel to him, and I'm looking forward to seeing more with him.
Alright, my last review for this week was Moon Knight issue 8. Now, last off, we left Mark Spector, Moon Knight. He had just gotten the crap beat out of him by Taskmaster, and he had made a comeback and beat Taskmaster, and Taskmaster ran away. So we saw Moon Knight don the suit again, had this great page by Finch, and go into his cave, kind of like reboot everything he had. And so he launches an attack after this secret committee who's been after him, plotting like his demise since like the beginning of the book. So fast forward, Moon Knight crashes into the building, starts a fight with Taskmaster, easily single-handedly beats Taskmaster even after being shot with like 8 arrows right in his chest. And what we see is like a comparison from the first issue, from when we see Moon Knight cut off Banshee's face. I can't remember the villain's name. I think it was, Bushwhacker. He cut off Bushwhacker's face, so he cut off Taskmaster's mask in the same kind of ritual, but without hurting him. So Taskmaster's just sitting there kind of like in a catatonic state. The committee runs off, and so Moon Knight's kind of like spoiled their plans for now, as though we have yet to see what's going to go on with that. So it's very apparent that Moon Knight's made his comeback. The public's very aware. He's in the news. And you see this kind of like inner battle with himself and Khonshu, the god which brought Moon Knight back to life and made him his avatar of vengeance. So you see Mark, who's really struggling afterwards, after this whole debacle, whether or not he wants to be, Khonshu's avatar or not, or just wants to be a genuine hero. So Khonshu makes it very clear to him that, he's his avatar and that he can't be a hero because he is the living embodiment of Khonshu. So he has to do what Khonshu says, or he'll just easily die again. So this is a great book, great read. There's a lot coming in this book. Even you got Civil War tie-ins coming up. The penciling by Finch is just flawless. This guy, unbelievable. Frank Diamarta, the inking, the coloring, this is just Finch all the way. Storytelling by Charlie Houston is just great. This guy is on top of his game. I hope he stays on, or if not, comes back later on in Moon Knight. This is a highly recommended book. Great storytelling, fantastic artwork, great read.
So that's the show for this week.
Another good show.
Another fun time. Saw some stuff from Clayburn Moore. Saw some interesting reviews and a great statue segment.
Yes. So I guess people are going to now say, oh, we don't just love Bowen anymore. Now we love Mr. Moore.
And we do love Mr. Moore. Because Mr. Moore talks to us.
Well, and he does, quality stuff.
He does do quality stuff. As Mr. Swisstack has proven to us once again.
Exactly. So we know what we like.
So that's it for this week. Next week we've got an interview.
Yeah, we're going to keep it as a mystery interview.
It's a surprise.
Yeah.
And last week you said something about T-shirts?
Yeah, and we've already started to get some people responding to us. So I think I'm sending out 2 T-shirts this week.
So we're going to need some more T-shirts coming
Yeah,
in.
so if you missed it last week, basically, if you promote us online, on your blog site, we had Greg put it in his signature on all his forums that he goes to.
Okay.
The variant edition thing. So, it's very cool. So basically, if you do anything to promote us online to basically spread the word out there, let us know. Send us a link or screen grab, whatever. We'll send you a T-shirt.
So I can get a T-shirt if I go and put something on my website about it?
If you want another T-shirt.
If I want another... Well, I do want another T-shirt.
Oh, I'll give you one then.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then if you're a store or you know of a store that has a TV and a DVD player in it, again, ask them if they would show our show in the store. If they would, contact us. I'll send out a DVD, and then that store will become our affiliate, which we will mention on the show, put a link on our website.
And it's not going to hurt your shop because, we talk about stuff that's coming out, stuff that is out, and we'll tell you what to buy. So actually we help out your store with sales a little bit, kind of, in a way, because, we're kind of profiteering gluttons that way.
And I mean,
we don't make any profit off of it.
I'll say it before and I say it again. I work at a comic book store, and we show the show in the store because people are always asking, hey, I saw this, hey, that looks familiar, Anyways, and I have to say more than once, people actually remember what we review.
Well, I remember that I have walked in here to pick up my stuff, and people have said, "Oh, I picked up that thing that you talked about because it was good." And I was like, "I'm really creeped out right now because I don't even know who you are." But
hey,
okay,
you're the guy. Didn't one of the guys say, "Hey, you're that guy"?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
But welcome.
Yeah, such as internet fame or infamy.
Infamy. I'm gonna go with infamy.
Yeah. So keep those. Keep promoting us. I mean, 2 T-shirts in just a couple of days isn't so bad. So we get a lot more. So keep them coming. And next week, we've been getting quite a few fan mails. So next week, we're going to do a fan mail segment.
Cool.
So
looking forward to read it.
Yeah. And, so that's it.
All right. So that's it for the show. Come back next week and same time, same place. And
same time. Yeah, and we're not doing the whole 2 shows in 1 week thing. We'll do every once in a while, but
we might do a special format coming up, but we're not going to talk about that yet because we're still working on it.
Yeah, like I said, we got surprises in store.
Surprises.
Yeah. So we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to Variant Edition, your first weekly video podcast show about comics and comic culture. I'm Mike. Wow.
And I'm Kevin.
Wow, that was...